geopolitical uncertainty, coupled with volatility in energy prices and adverse weather events, pose upside risks to inflation. In terms of the headline inflation trajectory, despite the anticipated momentum being muted, unfavorable base effects stemming from large decline in prices observed during Q4 of last year, that is 2024-25, would lead to an uptick in year-on-year inflation in Q4 this year. Considering all these factors, CPI inflation for this year, the current year 2025-26, is now projected at 2.1%, with Q4 at 3.2%. CPI inflation for Q1 and Q2 next year are projected at 4% and 4.2% respectively. Excluding precious metals, the underlying inflation pressures remain muted. The risks are evenly balanced. Again, in view of the impending release of the new CPI series on February 12, as I mentioned for growth, we will be presenting our CPI inflation projections for the full year 2026-27 in our next policy statement in April. I will now be talking about the external sector. Despite heightened uncertainty, global trade remained relatively robust. India's merchandise exports, supported by trade diversification efforts, grew by 1.9% year-on-year in Q3 25-26. Merchandise imports grew by 7.9% during the same period, resulting in a widening of the trade deficit. Robust services exports and healthy inward remittance receipts would, however, keep India's current account deficit for the current year moderate and sustainable. Moreover, India's proactive efforts in pursuing bilateral and regional trade agreements with major trading partners are expected to boost international trade and investment, diversify trading partners, and integrate India into global value chains. Even on the external financing side, gross FDI to India increased at a robust pace during April to November 2025, for which we have data till now. Net FDI too increased as repatriations declined despite a rise in outward FDI. India continues to remain an attractive FDI destination for greenfield projects, as evidenced by a number of announcements made in this regard. However, FPI recorded net outflows of $5.8 billion till February 3 this year. As on 30th January 2026, India's